You give them something to eat. If they're hungry, Peter, then you guys feed them. You want us to feed 5,000? Yeah. They're hungry, you feed them. So what's he got to do? He's got to go back to the committee members. And this is what he does. I talked to them. Yeah, did you tell them that they were hungry? Yeah, I told them. I did tell them that they were hungry. Okay, what they say? Well, he said, we should go feed them. They went hungry. He said that we should feed them. They go, you idiot! How are we going to feed them? There's 20,000 people and we got nothing. So they're bickering back and forth and they're arguing, and this little kid comes walking by, he's got a Long John Silver bag. And Peter reaches out and he goes, dude! And off he goes. And he opens it up, and there are 2 fish and 5 biscuits. Okay? Now, let's go back to Scripture for just a minute. They were hush puppies. Okay. Karen says they were hush puppies, so we'll go with that. Okay? So, the 2 fish in Scripture, they weren't like this kind. They were like smoked, small, pickled fish. Okay? Yeah. I envision like sardines. That's what I envision. Yeah. And the round cakes, the hush puppies, they were about the size of a biscuit. So imagine that going through the story. That's what they've stolen from the kid and sent him on his way. I don't think they stole it. Okay, I'm just kind of throwing that in. Okay? So what they do is they decide to go back to Jesus as he's teaching and say to him, this is all we got. This is all we have, 2 and 5. So probably since this is all that we have and we don't have money to feed them, you probably should go ahead and dismiss so that they can go and get their lodging. Do you think he bites on that? Let him bite on it a bit. Go to verse 13, part 2. They answered, we only have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, unless we go and buy food for all of this crowd. Now, he looks at them and he says, have them sit down in groups of about 50. Okay, so here's what I think happened. I think the disciples figured it out. I think they had seen enough of his miracles to go, okay. So first of all, they got to assemble them in groups of 50, which a crowd of about 20,000 is probably not easy to do. But they say, hey, everybody assemble groups of 50, we're going to feed you. It's time for fellowship. Right? Because they think what he's going to do is he's going to multiply the food. Right? Because that's what Scripture says. And then as they're talking amongst themselves, they go, hey, remember back in the Old Testament? Well, they didn't say the Old Testament because that didn't exist. Remember back in Scripture when Elisha fed the 100 men with the 12 loaves? Well, he can do it. I mean, if Elisha can do 1,200, he can do 30,000 on 2 and 5, right? So they figured out that that's what he was going to do. But here's the kick, and here's where everything changes. Okay, listen to me on this one. What they thought he was going to do is what we think that he did, which is actually not what he did. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now's where it gets rich. Okay. What they thought he was going to do is what we think and we read that he did on the surface, but in actuality, it is not what he did at all. Not what he did at all. Here's what he does. Look at verse 16.